Another week, another eliminated contestant from the Snake. Now, this week, okay, he may have joined the show late, but he made a lasting impression. It's our favorite politician, John. John, good morning. So good to see you.
Good to see you too, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
Well, I have so many questions. So I kind of want to start off with okay, you got eliminated this week, but the
I
week
did.
before, you were the Snake.
Yeah.
Looking back,
Yeah.
if you could go back and do one thing differently with your reign as the Snake, would you change anything?
I would have pushed Frank in the pool and make him pick the mongoose. Yeah. In the moment, Frank was like, I didn't have my waterproofing on for my makeup. I couldn't get in the pool. And I was like, shut up. I had pulled my quad on the race before. I pulled my quad, so I was slow going down that hill. He's like, hurry up, hurry up. I'm like, just go, because we didn't care who really won between us. But yeah, if I was to do something different, they show it kind of like a little one-sided, in the sense that it looks like I just like transacted the whole time on information. I did a lot of that. But I was trying to telegraph to people that I remained the one neutral player in the game. People started seeing me affiliated with a couple other players, but I truthfully was neutral. I actually had a number of conversations in week 7 and 8 with Jack and McLean about working with them. So they don't show all of those pieces, but I was definitely still trying to figure out who I could work with. And I had heard so many people in elimination ceremonies, it doesn't all make TV, who were really bitter about how people went about talking or not talking to them or sharing certain things with some people or the other. And I thought, as a more neutral player coming in late and trying to stay under the radar as long as I could, how could I telegraph that my I was open to working with everybody without pissing anyone off. I didn't succeed, but I tried to do it very badly by showing everybody everyone was going to get the same time, the same treatment, the same kind of conversation, so that nobody left feeling like he's clearly got a side. It didn't go as well as I had hoped, obviously, but so I would redo the whole thing, Jeremy. That's the bottom line. I would redo the
Well,
whole
speaking of,
thing.
I got to ask though, because the way when I was watching the episode when you were the snake, it seemed to
Yeah.
be that it was the most controversial thing for you to pull everybody aside individually and ask them that question. It seemed like everyone was up in arms about that. Did you feel that way during the week?
I mean, yeah, there were some people who let on that they didn't like it. I'm real intuitive. I knew that they didn't like me even being there. The second I popped out of that dinner box, I mean, come on, people were like, the guy in a three-piece suit with a bow tie who's 20 years older than us, get him out of here now. So I knew that like that was my existence, and I was slowly winning people over actually because I didn't go after people. I picked a person to eliminate who everybody was kind of mad at already. I kind of worked on some things, but I just didn't have enough like lead time. So coming in late was a huge detriment. And I think, yeah, that whole like we didn't like to be sat down in this like principal's office mentality, one at a time, did bother them. But it's funny because when you are down in the elimination rounds and you hear everybody bitter about everybody's way of doing it, they pinned it on me because mine was kind of the most obvious. I think that like I did it probably the poorest of everybody, but everybody was upset every week at how somebody did it. So it didn't, it's nothing new to me.
Yeah, okay, so Christine told me the exact same thing. Christine said they wanted the newbies out, and I'm
Oh,
guessing you're
yeah.
feeling the same way with that. So, do you think it made a difference if you would have got rid of McLean versus Catherine?
I would have just basically declared war on one faction of the house. Catherine, the strategy with Catherine was a very good player. She was an excellent player. She was a little aggressive. I think she would say that too, that she probably played it a little aggressive. But I don't think she's mad about that. I think she would do it the same way. I actually have two regrets. One is I debated between trying to work with Christine or Catherine at the very beginning. And I actually should have worked with Catherine because I would have preferred to play the game as a villain from the beginning and been the nice guy who's really just walking around slashing ankles. And I think if I had figured out Catherine's game a little earlier and been earlier in the game, I would have worked really well with her. But I think on the flip side of it, was Alyssa and Frankie and I all figured out Catherine was lying to everybody and we didn't trust her at all. We did like and want to trust Jordan. And we needed to get Jordan away from her because Jordan just blindly was like, no, Catherine's my ride or die. And I think Jordan was just afraid of being like me without a partner kind of thing. And so we kind of were like, John's going to be the guy who kills off Catherine and we're going to try to just win Jordan over. It didn't work as you see in week 8. Jordan didn't buy it, but she entertained it. I give her credit for thinking about it. She didn't come over to it.
Well, I guess after watching the show, you know Catherine went in as the villain. I mean, hardcore. Like watching her testimonials and her strategies on her phone, like that was a. I asked her last week. I was like, "That's you played hard and fast, but it got it. It made a lasting impression." So, do you think then? you didn't save McLean, and yet Jack still eliminated you. Why do you think he eliminated you versus Frankie, who was considered like the nicest guy in the house, who could go to win it all because he's so nice?
Yeah, well, exactly. I think that the thing that they all say, which is hilarious, is they all talk a big game about this person's super scary and dangerous and this and that, whatever. But when each of them actually become the snake, okay, so if you look at Jordan the week before me, like she's like, I gotta use my time to get rid of somebody really powerful. And she gets rid of Christine, who was like to everybody was not playing a strategic game in everyone's minds. And then you look at Jack and it's like everyone's like, oh, Frank is the mastermind. He's got all the women, under his, thumb and he's doing all this stuff. And nobody likes John, right? Everyone wants to get rid of John. So like let somebody else get rid of John on a different week when you don't really have a choice. But you have Frank in the pit and you could get rid of Frank and they get rid of me, right? And whereas I chose to get rid of somebody who was extremely dangerous, who was doing stuff to everybody, and it made everybody uncomfortable. I think a lot of them talked a big game, but when they actually had the power, they didn't know how to use it because they were afraid of pissing everyone off. And I think Jack, in the end, was really thinking about Amanda or Frank, but I think as you see in the episode, came to the conclusion that he can keep peace with everybody late in the game if he gets rid of the guy that nobody is really closely allied with. So he chooses to off me. And it was predictable if you're me because I came in with a handicap from the first day, but I think it made some of the other players a little nervous for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like big gameplay. You gotta mix it up. I thought it was leading that way, like with Pastor and with Devontae, like it was kind of leading in that way. And now I feel like these are easy kills, if you will,
Mhm.
especially with you. But do you feel like you made any like true friendships or lasting friendships? Do you keep in contact with anybody from the show?
Oh yeah, no. So Alyssa and Frankie and I like ride or die. Like definitely talk to them all the time. Love them to death. It was kind of like it was sad that I came in week 4. We still found each other pretty fast, but yeah, they would have definitely from day one been people I'd have sat at the lunch table with in high school. So like it was true to be in the show, and it was true in real life. Definitely good people.
Who
Yeah.
do you feel is the strongest player left in the game who has everybody just wrapped around their finger?
Wrapped around their finger. I think the strongest player in the game, and I say it in the episode in some ways, I think, is Jack. I do think Jack is the strongest player in the game in some respects. I think Jack is the strongest overall game. I think Frankie is the strongest social game, and I think Derek has the strongest intellectual game. To me, if it was like if I had survived that week and like I had a chance to do somebody out, in the following week, I'd have gotten rid of Derek, mostly because he and I played a similar type of game on the strategic intellectual side. And Jack, I think, was hard because Jack had both McLean, kind of, in a really intimate spot with him, maybe we'll say, and he also had this really tight bond with Brett, and he was loyal to Brett and supported Brett, and by virtue of that, I think Derek. And so he had insulated himself well, and I think they were the strongest players overall in the game after I left, for sure.
Well, John, I thought you did a great job. I think you were trying to be, I liked the way your strategy was playing out. I wish we had more time with you on the show to see that come to fruition, but you did a great job. The politician had to leave early, but you got things to do. We're so proud of you. You did an amazing job, and I thank you so much for your time and wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Thanks so much, Jeremy. I appreciate being here.